Welcome to Dropping Diamonds with me, AJ Andrews, where we dive headfirst into the world of softball. Today, I am joined by four-time All Pac-12 member. She is a part of Team USA. She's currently catcher for AUSL Talons. It is the one, it is the only, it is the beautiful Sharlize Palacios. Thank you for joining me, Queen.
Thank you for having me. So excited to be here and talking with you finally.
I know. She's in sunny San Diego, and she looks fantastic for those that cannot see her. Well, before we start our discussion, I always like to start the podcast with a amazing quote that leads into a fun affirmation because, as you know, we got to talk to ourselves a lot in order to maintain confidence, in order to stay pumped up for whether it's long practice days or just game days or just longevity in the game in general. So, a quote I thought about because I never got the chance to play with you, but watching you, you just seem like such a light and seem like someone that is always willing to listen and learn, but also be there for your teammates. So this is a quote that I thought was really cool and applied today. And it says, effective leadership starts with being coachable. Like, in order to be a great leader, you must first follow and you must first learn. And I think that if we were trying to drive an affirmation from effective leadership starts with being coachable, what would be an affirmation you think we could bridge into that?
Ooh, I would just say being a leader, it really shows your passion and you play with your heart on your sleeve. I think that's probably one of the hardest things to do as a leader. So I would say I'm passionate just because no one wants to play for a leader that doesn't think of what they love all the time. So I would say I am passionate would be a good affirmation.
Okay. So I love to make it into like a little rhyming stitch. So you wake up in the morning and it's kind of like you're giving yourself a little rap. So we say, today I will listen more than I speak, pour out my passion. Every day I get better. I'm nowhere near my peak.
AG, that was beautiful.
You like that? Snap?
I love that. I love that. I'm going to have to have you text that to me and I'm going to say that every morning. I love that.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I'm happy we have it recorded. And I can just send it to you too.
Yeah.
Okay, so our affirmation for today is, today I will listen more than I speak, pour out all my passion. Every day I get better. I am nowhere near my peak. And at least for you, someone that is nowhere near her peak, continues to get better every single year from college to pro. When you first started, that excitement, that joy that just exudes off you on the field, it's been a part of you since you were little. And because you were younger, you were referred to as being the chispa. Am I saying that correctly?
Yes, a little
The
chispa.
a little chispa, which I looked up the meaning of that. It means like wit or sparkle. Am I translating that correct? Like the
Yeah,
light.
it's like a little spark. Yeah.
Yeah, she's the spark. And you were named that like Fernando Tatis, her favorite team, San Diego Padres. And so
Yes,
growing
thank
up
you, AJ.
attending, had to make sure everybody knew that one. Growing up and attending many Padres games, what did watching Fernando impact how you play and help you become the little chispa?
Yeah, I think watching Tatis play and just watching the Padres play in general, especially in a platform that a lot of people are able to see it. I love how they're able to exude their swag and their own flavor to it. So in Spanish, we call it our sazón. That's our little sprinkle of seasoning, as you will. It's our little flavor, I guess you could say. So I always enjoyed asking my dad how he would kind of implement his little swag and sazon. And he said that he was very quiet, but also just very exuded confidence. And I felt like my confidence came from hyping up my teammates. So I felt like being that spark and kind of that light that would kind of be quiet until needed to be spoken to, and just kind of would try to light up the circle or light up the dugout. I feel like that was my swag. So then I kind of try to bleed into that, just being a chispa. And then I really felt like that resonated with Tatis because I felt like every time he hit, it was electric and it was like a spark. So I was like, I need to do that too when I hit. So anytime I felt like a clutch situation came down, I was like, you have to be the chispa. You have to spark it, get the momentum back. So that's kind of where that came from. And yeah, just watching the Padres, I feel like they have a lot of players that are of like Latin descent that give that sazon and that spark. So I want to play like that just on the softball field.
I feel like we need to add to our affirmation. Pour out my passion, throw a little sazon.
Sazon, baby. Yeah,
Every
I love
day I
that.
get better and spicier. I'm nowhere near my peak. Yeah, I don't know if it flowed as well, but we're gonna find a way to add that onto it because we gotta
Yeah.
add some sazon.
It might
Or
be a little bit longer of an
right,
affirmation. It'll be long.
right. Throw my what's that song can I throw on today? That's I feel like that's a great question to ask yourself every day when you wake up. It's like, how can I add a little sazon to the day?
Exactly. You need to spice up your life just because going from practice to playing, and especially like in the format that we had, it was a lot of back to back games, back to back practice days. So you felt the monotony of it. So it's like, how can I make today fun? How can I make my teammates better? How can I make myself better? Like, what sazon are you going to sprinkle into your girls, you know?
I love it. What's your favorite sazon to sprinkle in? How do you become the spark? How does one really muster up that energy to be the spark plug?
I think the easiest way, I say easiest because it's very easy for me to do, is just making fun of myself or making a joke and like making everyone laugh and like loosening everything up. Like making everyone realize like we're on a softball field. It is so fun to be out here and it is fun to just hang with your girls doing things that you guys are really good at. You know what I mean? Like so I think that was probably my favorite thing is I love making my girls laugh. That's like my biggest thing. I learned that from my sister. She's so funny. Michelle is hilarious. So I just like kind of like keep files of like her jokes in my head and I'll like throw them out there with different crowds and be like, okay, here,
And
go ahead,
see
laugh,
where
you know?
if this hits here. It's like you
Yeah.
do the stand-up comic. Yeah, let me see if this one's what crowd am I working with today? You're just
You'll
gonna
for
like my
sure see
sister's
my eyes
jokes.
like looking around too, seeing like who's laughing. I'll be like,
Yeah. And then it's like you gravitate towards them and cry, you're my target audience. Come
you
here.
get my
Add
humor.
more. Yeah, you get well, I hope Aaliyah does the same. I hope she thinks I'm hilarious. Little sister, big sister. She's like, oh my God. Every joke you guys hear Aaliyah say is probably something I've uttered.
I mean,
LOL.
we are carbon copies of our older sisters. That's
Yeah.
just what it is.
Fun fact, I'm just gonna throw this out there just because I learned it recently and I think it's fascinating. Every so so
I'm
Aaliyah
afraid. I'm getting
Aaliyah
scared.
hates it. So, Sasha's the oldest, right?
Yeah, so Shell's
Okay.
the oldest.
So, apparently, science says that after your eyes got big. After when the first child is born, there's still some DNA from the first-born child that then gets transferred to the next born child. So every child after has a little bit of their eldest sibling in them. And so I can like firmly take credit for a lot of things. I won't do it, but like I
I'm not
can.
telling Sashel that,
Yeah.
but that is like probably the coolest thing ever. Like if 5-year-old Charlize heard that, she'd be like, I'm a piece of Sashel. What? Like I
Oh,
genuinely think that our hearts were like made the same exact way. Like we have the same exact heart. So hearing that as a 5-year-old, but trying to be like a cool 24-year-old now, I'm like, okay, whatever. I'm
right.
like my sister. No, I try to be like that girl. She's like, you talk about a little ray of sunshine. That's a shell. Like she just like glows as soon as she wakes up. I'm like, dang, you're so happy. Oh my God.
Oh. How do you feel like you not only being able to be close with your sister, but being able to play with her? That's I feel like that's something that some people don't get the chance to do and to have. How would you say Seychelles has impacted you as a person and as a player?
Yeah, I'm going to touch on when we played. I mean, no walk off, no play that I've ever made in my life, no World Series game could have topped playing with Seychelles. Like, that was the coolest experience I've ever had as a player. It ranks at the top, especially being on her team and seeing her get her very last hit in her game. I was a sobbing mess in the dugout because I was just like, wow, like I've only grown up knowing my sister playing softball. And Sashel was always the type, I'm like a very fearful person. Like I was scared of loud noises when I was younger. I was scared of the dark. I was scared of a lot of things. Very fear faith-based culture that we have. But Sashel always made me feel comfortable trying things because she would try it first. So she would do she would go to college and play softball. She would run a half marathon. I felt so empowered by her always because I saw my older sister doing it. So now seeing how much she's paved the way for me and seeing her finally like close that chapter, something that I would think I'm like, oh, I'm so scared to stop playing softball. Seeing my sister do it in such grace and with so many people just loving on her, it empowered me that I'm going to be okay when I'm done playing softball. Of course, I'm not close to being done, but like she's just been that person that makes it so easy for me to think that I can do anything. Like she genuinely makes me feel like I can be a superhero because I see her being a superhero.
Wow.
My
That's so,
girl.
and yeah, that's my girl. That's my girl. Oh, what would you say is probably maybe one thing that Sajal has said to you that's really just stuck with you throughout your whole life and has truly empowered you?
I think it's more actions. I love like Sachel's so well spoken. Sachel just like has the right words to say when she needs to say it. I feel like that's just like older sister 101. Like she just has that like gift. She knows how to like be calming in a sense, empowering in a sense. But I think just Sachel's actions, like every day she wakes up and she is loyal, she is loving. Like I don't think I've met anyone that puts people before herself more than Sachel. Like as a catcher, as an older sister, like Sachel is never her first thought. And I'm like, girl, you can take a little something back for yourself. Like, let's go get our nails done, do something. But she always thinks of others. And just like I want to be like that as a catcher. I've like tried to really like develop my relationships with my pitchers to just be like loving, supportive, like exactly how my sister was. So I think that that is something that I tried to emulate from my sister.
And you also not only emulating how her actions, but I mean, you were number 13 in honor of her. And so being able to emulate her in every way, when you step on that field, what does it mean to you to wear number 13? Why was that something that was important for you to do?
It was super important for me to take on number 13 because it felt so safe. Again, my sister has always been my safe space. And like, I tell her, I'm like, we're definitely each other's soulmates. Like our souls were made to like coexist in this life together. And yeah, just having 13, we've like always grown up thinking it was lucky. Like whenever anyone brought up that it was unlucky, it was always so lucky for our family. Whenever we would see a 13, something good would happen. Or like ever since my late grandma passed, we've seen 13s and it's like a little sign that she's here, she's with us. So it's been a really cool journey. I think we've like been thinking about getting like 13 tattooed on us. We really want to do that. Just to like have that as like a sister tattoo together, but it's super um just it's like super meaningful to our family and I think it reminds me that like they have my back cuz 13's like right there behind me. So it's just a really cool thing and just seeing how she was able to carry on her legacy with Mexico, with ASU, and with AU, I was like, I hope she lets me have 13 after she's gone. And of course she did. She was like, you can have it. So what better way to like carry on the Palacios legacy than wearing number 13?
Love it. Did your dad wear 13?
He
So no,
actually
he
wore
played professional
18.
baseball, right? Oh, he's
Yeah,
18?
he played professional baseball. He played 18. So when I was at Arizona before I transferred to UCLA, I was able to wear 18 for 2 years and 13 for 2 years. My literal two
Ooh.
hitting coaches. How crazy is that? Like my lifetime hitting coaches, my dad and my sister, I got to split time with them. So I was like, that's pretty cool. And then my brother ended up wearing 18. So we kind of live in that little family of like 18, 13, 18, 13.
Ooh, I gotta look up what that angel number is, like 1813 angel number,
I
what it
know that
means.
might mean something,
Yeah.
right?
Well, I mean, come whether it's 18 or 13, you both being catchers, what drew you both to being behind the dish and having so much command on the field?
Yeah, well, you said it perfectly. Introducing my dad, he was a professional baseball player. He got drafted. And so he was a catcher, and all he knew was to breed catchers. Like, that's probably all he knew how to teach. And that we literally never went to lessons. We were just here in the garage, homegrown. So we like to call our house the factory of catchers because my little brother was also a catcher. And so it was just like in our blood. My dad said that Sachel came out in a squat and I don't know how much I believe that, but of course, little sister was always just gonna copy what Sachel did. I saw her in the gear and I was like, sure, put me in the gear. I didn't know what doing that was going to equate to like all these journeys that I've had now. But yeah, it's been really cool just being able to like learn from her, ask her questions. Like, what better than to have someone in your own household that can answer those questions for you and just quickly on the phone. I mean, I call them before every single game and I'm just like, hey, what do you think I should do here in this situation? And just getting to learn from them and even just watch them. I feel like my best learning comes from watching. I'm a very visual learner. So watching my sister play all those years, I'm really grateful that I got the time to be able to watch her and also just watch such an elite player. I think that's what's bettered my game so much, just being able to watch Sashel.
How do you feel like you've evolved as a catcher from when you first started, when your dad was in y'all's factory building those very first catchers, to now as a professional? Over all the time, if you could think of maybe one or two things that you feel like have you really been able to evolve and how they've really helped you better into becoming a better catcher, what would you say those are?
Ooh, great question. I love this. So I think we can ask my dad and my sister, and they would both agree that I was not a very good catcher. I wasn't smooth. I wasn't quiet back there. I was just kind of like in Spanish, it's called tosca. So that means like very harsh and like rough. And so they just call me bien tosca. And I was like, oh, like, how do I not be tosca?
Yeah,
Like,
no,
I was getting angry. I was getting so angry. I was like, "Damn, just like want to be smooth." So I feel like once I got into college, um, and I had to catch elite pitching, I feel like I just had to like learn, and that was the only way I was going to start is if I became a good receiver and if I could throw girls out and just being athletic back there. But I really noticed a change when I was in my junior year. That was the year after I transferred to UCLA, catching Megan. I felt like I finally grew into this confident catcher because I realized the shift when I caught. I would always have a little bit of like fear when I caught. I was like, oh, like I just don't want a mistake to happen. But then quickly it became, no, I'm the quarterback of this team. And I think a lot of that confidence came from my dad and my sister, but also from Coach I, who was a catcher herself. And having a head coach that's a catcher, they see the value in you. So I think she never let me walk out of practice without forgetting how much I meant to the team. So that also played a huge part in how I saw myself in my position because obviously you see a center fielder and a shortstop being the highlight, but people don't see how important a battery mate is for a pitcher and having the say and having the pitch calling skills to be able to control a game. So I think having Coach I just be so awesome with reminding me how important I was to a team dynamic was something that changed my confidence level. And then I just started taking so much pride in being a good catcher. I wanted to minimize running on the base paths. That's something that I take a lot of pride in and being able to keep someone parked at first base, whether that's blocking, whether that's throwing runners out, and then just also just being a huge voice and advocate for the pitchers and being a good pitch caller. I think that comes a lot from my sister, just asking her a ton of questions of like, what does your gut say? Like, do you go with that? Do you go with what you would go against what you would do if you were hitting? And just a lot of those questions. I think that's one thing that curiosity helped me a lot in this, asking a ton of questions. I was never afraid to have someone give me like constructive criticism. So yeah, I would say that that is probably what made me an elite catcher over just being a catcher and a game changer. So I think it's taking pride in being that quarterback behind the plate.
Taking pride in being the quarterback behind the plate, and just like a quarterback, whether it's calling the plays or you calling the pitches, what is your process? What does that look like to knowing which pitch to call in which moment in order to have the perfect pitch call?
I think a lot of that has to do with knowing your pitchers. I think at times I really try to dive deep into getting to know my pitchers. I want to know everything about them. I want to know their coffee order. I want to know everything. I want to know them like the back of their hand, you know? And so I take pride in getting to build that relationship because it's kind of a hard place to be in alone in that circle and feeling like you don't have someone to balance you out or just feel like they have your back or they know you very well. I think that's step one. also knowing their pitches, not just knowing the pitchers, but knowing their pitches and what they do and what they look like and how they spin and the accuracy. There's a lot of different things that go into that. But just knowing how they are on a certain day, if you know their pitches, you know how they're going to come out, you know how sometimes where their mistakes hit. So putting that all into consideration. But I always think my gut. I am like always going with what my gut tells me. I never second guess myself, because if I second guess myself, that's when it gets hit. I realize that now in the pro, this was my second year of pro. Whenever I second guess it, it gets hit. And I'm like, that's teaching you not to second guess yourself. So I have to realize that my gut feeling is always right. And that, like, go with it. You know what you want and just don't overthink it. Like, I think that one thing that I take pride in is trying to give my pitcher the best possible combination or sequence that I see, but they're always going to go with their gut. So you go with your gut. You know what I mean? So there's never a wrong pitch call. So that was what I grew to learn with that.
Always go with your gut. When you are creating the perfect sequence, is it, to your point, based on the pitcher, or do you base it a lot on the batter and maybe previous at bats or what you've seen from them?
I feel like depending on what point in season you are and how many times they've seen a pitcher, I think you can kind of base it off of different things. I think first at bats are always go to your pitcher's strength. You never want to get beat on their B or C pitch. You always want to go at them with your A pitches. So I think that's important to just make sure your pitcher feels confident what they're putting out there. But then later into season, especially this season, playing teams more than 5 times, the pitchers are going to have more than 15 at bats off of a pitcher. You're going to see their spin a lot more, so they'll be able to track it. So you also want to keep kind of account of what pitchers or what pitches have been hit by some of the hitters. So I had a little notebook. I was always writing down what happened, what sequences happened, and just kind of keeping track of that, making sure that we're not making the same mistake twice, especially late in a game. I feel like I would rather make a mistake earlier in a game and learn something from a hitter earlier in a game than late in the game. So I was making sure I was taking care of that. But also one thing that you can't be too predictable, not just with the same hitters, but throughout the lineup. Like, there was times where I would go change up first pitch and then be like, okay, this next girl, we cannot give her a change up first pitch because she might sit it. You know what I mean? And you just don't want to leave something there for them. So I feel like being as unpredictable as you can without just throwing randomness out there, but having a purpose behind what you call, I think is what sequencing to me meant. Like, just making sure that each pitch had its own intention, whether it was a setup, whether it was a strike pitch, or whether it was like a pitcher's pitch. I think each one had to have its own intention behind it.
Mhm. Purposely unpredictable. Gotta be purposely unpredictable when
Yeah.
you are catching in order to create the sequence. What would you say if you were to give someone a cheat sheet, because you kind of you mentioned it a little bit earlier of wanting to be smooth or wanting to be quick. What was the word? Were you like, I don't want to be this anymore?
I don't want to be tosca. You want to be
Tosca.
suave,
Yeah.
suave.
Suave. What would you say is maybe like the cheat sheet of things that every great pitcher has, whether they're smooth, they're quick to the ball? What does that look like in order to be an elite catcher?
I think being an elite catcher is like, I always say this, and I am not even sure if people understand it, but like, I want people not to notice me back there. I want it to be so fluid that people don't even really realize that I'm even catching the ball. Like, I think that one thing that I take a lot of pride in that we were able to steal a lot of strikes this year is presenting it well to the umpire behind me. So I didn't really care how it looked as far as it looked. I wanted it to look good to the umpire and give him a clear vision behind me. And a lot of the pitches that we got called that were chalk got called because I presented them well to the umpire. So I think that's one thing, just being fluid enough that you're able to present it, and you don't want to like trick the umpire. Like, he's gonna have his own judgment anyways, but being smooth continuously and consistently throughout a game is gonna cause him to think, oh, she's constantly hitting the strike and the catcher's constantly catching it this way. It's kind of has to be a strike. So kind of towards the end, they get a little more lenient on that, I believe. So I think that just being as fluid as you can in your movements, knowing when to stop yourself and be strong in a position with your wrist and with your glove, but also not having too much harsh movement within your shoulders and your body, if that makes sense. Because you don't want it to be a harsh frame. You want it to kind of look like a baseball frame. So I try to watch a lot of catchers. I loved watching Yachty, and just being able to watch how they are able to move up on the ball. I know that softball is a lot different because we have a rise ball component to it. So there's a lot of different moving pitches, so you can't always just go up on a ball. But using that philosophy of just bringing it back and being able to stick it, I think is the biggest thing.
I mean, there's nothing cooler than like the perfect frame. Anytime I, go out there and pretend like I'm a catcher when I'm just trying to catch somebody, I'm just like, good finish and pose. Like I'm trying to get
And
right into
pose.
go right into it. Y'all make it look so pretty, so pretty. Another
Thank you.
thing
Thank you.
you make look pretty, but as a speed player, absolutely hate are throwing runners out. There has to be a method to the madness. And when do you like do you just know when a runner's gonna go, or do you just automatically, it's just kind of one of those things where you just have to have a quick response?
I think I like having a quick response. If I know she's going, I feel like you almost second guess yourself, like, "Oh, is she going?" I'm a very reaction-based player. I don't like to think a lot. I like to just let my body kind of be on its own and, like, almost act like my mind is behind me. I do anticipate things like, "Oh, this would be a good time for her to run," or they know maybe, especially with, like, change-up pitchers, it's a better time for them to run on a later count because they know I'll probably throw a change-up. I love throwing change-ups later in counts, but so having that kind of preconceived notion that, "Oh, they could be going here," but not setting my mind to being like, "Oh, you're throwing," and then being, like, double pumping. So I think just trusting my eyes and my reaction, and I'm able to like see the entire field, so I feel like I see a quick movement and I know that they're going. So then I really worked on my transfer and my arm care this year. I did show up to the start of season with a little bit of a hurting arm, and I was like, "Dang, my throws aren't getting there. I wasn't as quick," and I just felt like I wasn't at my peak of that like arm care that I should have been at before I got there. So I was like, "Dang, like how am I able?" So I had to really be in rehab. I really had to be taking care of this arm. And as soon as I gave my arm some love, it was giving me love back. And it was like, it kind of set it up perfectly because at the beginning, it seemed like my throws just weren't reaching. So I feel like everyone was like, we can run on sharp. But then quickly I was like, nope, this is not happening. We're taking care of this arm.
LOL.
Yeah, I was like, I
Gotcha.
think I played y'all.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Well, you definitely did. I mean, you threw out 8 runners this season, I believe. Threw out 8 runners this season, which in retrospect, runners are not running as much as we run in college. Also, seasons are not long, so that is quite a few runners that Shar threw out. When you think about being able to throw out so many runners and being able to be smooth and fluid through it, what would you say is probably the number one thing to focus on? Is it the good transfer, quick, the reaction time, or the actual throw? What is probably the number one thing you need to make sure is perfect?
I think, no, not I think, I believe, because I know that having a quick transfer is the game changer of how you get that ball out as fast as you can, especially players at this level. I mean, your sister, everyone at the pro level is so fast. So you do not have a second to spare, not even a millisecond. Like you cannot take a second off when you are doing your transfer. So being able to, I throw mostly from my feet, but I can throw from my knees. But I just feel like I am very consistent on my feet and I'm very quick on my feet. So I love to go to it because I know I've trained it very well. It's comfortable for me. And no matter what position the ball takes me, my feet always go back to the same position. And I'm very like perpendicular to second base. So I'm straight on, I'm going towards second base. My shoulder is pointed there. So I really do trust my feet, but it's the transfer of knowing that I can't frame, I can't stick it. As soon as I recognize that she's going, I am like quick in and out. And I think arm strength has always been there for me. And I had to start taking pride in where I place the ball, especially with depending which shortstop I had. So some shortstops will really need you to lead them there, or some shortstops will kind of overrun second base to try to cut them off. So knowing exactly where you want to like thread the needle and put the ball through is really important, especially with knowing your runners. Some runners will try to hook slide, some runners will go straight in. So you do have to kind of manipulate where the ball is going to go. I always like to err on the side of like hitting the front of the base and low so that that tag can be right there. But if I see that someone is like kind of gaining up speed and we want to cut them off, I really do have to lead them into the runner in a sense, and it just like leads them straight into the tag. So I think ball placement, that's something that during collegiate practices, during practices that I have a full field and a full team, that's what I would work on. But I think that working by yourself and that time just by yourself is transferred, has to be on your A game at all points in time.
And you said you transfer on your feet, so your feet not going to your knees most of the time?
Yeah, so I think going to my knees is mostly with balls in the dirt. Like if I get a block and I see someone's going, I'm going to do that. Or if the ball's low, if I know I have a drop ball pitcher, just because I do drop a knee to frame, I will go from my knees there. And I kind of tell myself prior to the game, I'm like, okay, you're going to go from your knees. But other than that, when my reaction just tells me to go, it's feet.
Well, it worked for you. This your second season in the AUSL, throwing out 8 runners. When you reflect on your time from your rookie season to your second year, you quoted and you said, "Every year feels more and more significant the older I get because I feel like I learn more lessons, learn more about myself, and grow deeper in faith the longer I stick around that little yellow ball." What would you say were some of the lessons that you learned in your second year as a professional?
Ooh, I like this question. I think I learned from being on a team atmosphere with coaches that are coaching you. And I just realized that culture is such an important part of the game. Something that I think other sports at times don't relate to is there is like a key portion of baseball and softball that relies on vibe, relies on a team's momentum, on just that. I don't know how to explain it. It's that aura that you get when you're with a team and when you're playing with people that you love. It it really does elevate the play of everyone else. It's funny because softball has a lot of individual moments. Like you're at times the only one with the ball in your hands. I mean, at all times you're the only one with the ball in your hands. There's only one ball, so you're hitting against a pitcher. You're kind of alone up there, but that team synergy is what makes teams go far. And I really felt that this year, and I hadn't felt that. I had felt it in a few actually, when Sashelle was my captain, I had felt that feeling of, like, a team camaraderie. It felt like college. It was like it's different to emulate college because you're lifting together, you do team bonding, you're with each other 24/7, so to emulate that is very hard, and I feel like the AUSL was able to do that this season, and it was just really fun to, like, feel like a part of a team and realize that really good teams have great players. I feel like at this stage in our career, everyone's really, really good. But also having a team that respects one another, loves one another, wants each other to win does really well as well. Like that is a factor that comes in that elevates everyone else.
Well, there was not much more elevation that needed to be had with the Talons going out and winning the very first championship in AUSL history. You talk about the vibe and the energy that it takes in order to be on a great team and to have great chemistry and camaraderie. What would you say was the energy of the Talons this year that allowed you guys to have so much success?
Well, I don't think a lot of people realize that the first weekend we did not have a good showing. We like got run rolled. We were like, dang, what's going on? Like it was not looking good for the Talons. We're like, what's happening? Um, but I think the cool part was that we knew we had more in us and we wanted to see what we could do. I think we were really excited about the staff we had. I mean, having Coach Lisa as our GM was amazing because she just injects energy. Hearing her talk, she is so infectious. And I think everyone just bought into having Coach Lisa and having that aura of like, we're going to win this thing. So I think quickly at the beginning of the season, we knew what we wanted to be. It took a little bit of time to like mesh together. And we had some players that had to come in that we didn't have our entire team yet. So it was just a lot of like meshing, trying to figure out. We did a lot of bonding moments. We had a lot of time together to get to know each other and to like love each other past the chalk lines, you know what I mean? So I think that was really cool. But towards the end of season, I think we were playing with a sense of like, we don't want to stop playing with each other. So we have to keep playing well so we can play in this championship series. And then when it got to champ series, we are like, well, we have to win this thing. We have two girls that are gonna retire. We have to win this thing for them and for our coaches and for each other. I don't think like the singular thought of us individually raising the trophy was there. I think it was like the celebration of all of us winning together. It had to be done because we just enjoyed playing with each other so much. There was never a game that and I felt like anyone was like, "Oh, we have to play today." Like it was just like, "No, we get to play together today." And it was always someone new that was going to come through for the team, which was really cool.
I love that you said that. That was kind of the motto of my senior year in college of you don't have to play, you get to play today. Like, especially as it's, like, leaning towards the end of your collegiate career, it's like, "Oh, no, this is really coming to an end. I get to play today." You get a newfound of gratefulness and energy to play when you have that mentality. Do the Talons have a motto as you guys were moving through the season or something that you guys frequently said that kept the energy and the vibes high?
We really bought into the cause. Like we would caw and throw up our talons and we were like caw everywhere. Like even when we were passing by each other in the hotel, we'd be cawing. We like would say fear the flock, protect the nest. Like I think when we went to Utah, we had visited Coach Amy's house because obviously Hannah's an alum and we went to her house and she had this like thrifted painting that said bless this nest. And I went up to
Perfect.
Amy and I was like, "Can I have this? Like, this would be awesome for our dugout." So we grabbed it and we took it along with us. Like Coach Kirk, he took it with him and he's like, "Yep, we're gonna take it." And I think everyone was just really bought into creating a culture for our team that it never felt goofy, it never felt weird. I think those are the things that a team kind of like buys into and seeing everyone buy into it in the same extent that you do makes you like love it. So I loved like throwing up my claws and like cawing. Even in the Champs Cup, we were doing the same thing when we'd see each other in obviously different teams. We'd be like, "Ah," and instantly you'd like look over and just like know it was your teammates. So I think that was really fun. That was something that we all bought into, and no one was shy about it. Like we loved repping the Talons.
To call. I gotta say, did you guys have any cheers? I mean, any original cheers that popped up with this call and all the protect the nest?
Yeah, protect the nest, bless this nest. No, there was a few cheers. I feel like we kind of went back to like our roots in like youth ball and like rec ball and stuff like that. We would do like a lot of like goofy cheers. And I feel like everyone had cheers from like different parts of their softball career that they would just throw out. Like, I really have to shout out Nadia Taylor because she is like the dugout like vibe that everyone like emulated. And we kept bringing her up. We're like, dang, Nadia would do this cheer. And she was just such a funny teammate and such a cool, like, we were talking about culture. Like, Nadia Taylor breeds culture. She breeds people to like gravitate towards her. So we used a lot of her cheers that she would do during AU prior. And yeah, I feel like everyone would just bring out cheers that they remembered from their times before, and everyone would just buy into it, be like, "Hey, how did you do this cheer?" And I mean, it was just really fun. Like everyone was very lighthearted when we did stuff like that, and it wasn't judgmental at all. Like everyone would just do their thing, buy into it, and continue on with it.
Oh, Nadia. Well, the
Little
freaking
naughty.
Talons going up and you guys take the champ series in 2. What led to those victories and ultimately becoming the champions? On top of the vibe, on top of being able to be there for one another in the cheers, when it comes down to the actual game play and being able to step up to the plate, what do you really feel like was paramount for the Talons that led you guys to victory?
like I said before, I feel like the Talons never relied on one player to win the game. I feel like it was collectively, we all played the game and each person came up clutch. Like it was down to the wire who was going to come up clutch. And it was every single game that we felt like was the championship game in regular season, someone different would come up and be clutch. Like it was so cool because we would talk about it at the end of the game. We had like a debrief and we would talk about, oh, she did this good to set up her to finish it in the seventh, or she did this good. And we would just give each other a lot of praises and recognize the good stuff that happened throughout the game, that we realized at the end of the season that everyone had gotten a shout out at that point. We're like, dude, everyone had one or two games that they came up big for the team. And I have to shout out the staff, like our pitching staff. Sheesh, I'm happy I did not have to hit off of them. They were nasty, nasty. Like you had Georgie with that wicked changeup. Like that changeup is humbling to say the least. And then you get Megan turning into Megatron, and just like she's the type of player that when the game is on the line, you want her on the mound. Like she just turns it up a notch, and she knows when to turn it on. She's like literally like Kobe. It's like so cool. It's like she just like gets this mentality that almost like her mind quiets more when the stakes are higher. I remember us being in Oklahoma against the Volts, and it was like bases loaded. It was like she came in like a pinch situation, and she just like delivered for us. And like I've seen that so many times as a Bruin, but seeing it in the Talons uniform, it like kind of resurrected something in me. My collegiate self came back out, and I was like, that was so cool. Like I get to be Megan's number one fan. How cool. And then Montana obviously is like, this was the first time I really got to like work with her and like be her battery mate. And she is just on another level. She just knows what she wants to throw. And when she gets in that mode, it's like, I even kind of want to move out the way. I'm like, ooh, like I'm not going to mess with her. And then we had Raylan, who was our rookie, that was like, no one knew what they were going to get with this little girl, that little grunt. And she would come out and shove, 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 shove. She had so many tools in her arsenal that I was just out there with my pitch comm. I was like playing around with all of them. I was just like, let's see what this looks like here. Let's see. It was so fun to call for her. And she was just so bought into whatever you want, Char, whatever you want. And I was like, come here, my little sweet baby Ray. I love you. And then we had our crafty lefty in Mariah Lopez, that in college, she was a feared pitcher, but she got here and was able to come into her own. And I think playing at her alma mater really just set her back into like, yeah, I really know who I am. And sometimes you just need that little reminder of who you are and not like who you were. And I loved seeing her develop and our friendship be able to develop, and seeing her get the success that she deserved. And sometimes it's not a glorious path all the way throughout a season. That's not realistic, but she was able to really create something for herself that I think she could say she's really proud of. And I'm really, really proud of her. But she was like so nasty. She was at times hard to catch because of how much spin she produced too.
The way you describe it, there's no way you guys were not going to win. You hyped everybody up. I loved it. You get a shout out. You get a shout out. You get a shout out. But that really proves to the point of just how stacked you were. And you talk about vibes, and you talk about being able to really celebrate your teammates. And any moment could be anybody's moment. It really sounds like you guys, no matter who it was prepared for that moment. You also being prepared for every single moment. You were a 3-time game MVP in your pro debut season. This season, you've had walk-off home runs that help win the games. You being a big pivotal portion to the Talons winning the championship. Now that you've been able to say that you've been a history maker. You are a champion in the first inaugural season of AUSL. When you hear those words and they sink into who you are and who you're going to be for the rest of your life as a professional athlete, what does that feel like to know that you won? And in those moments when you did win, how did it feel?
I mean, winning and being able to lift up the trophy and have like the champagne showers, it was like everything that I've dreamed of. Like I wanted to like know what it was like to be in that team room after a win. Like when I would watch the World Series for baseball, I'd be like, wow, that is like so cool. Like I want to experience that one day. And I always felt like I was like, dang, like I never got that chance after the Women's College World Series to do that. Like we kind of got that feeling after Supers when we moved on. Like there was a lot of like that ecstatic feeling of like, oh my gosh, we did it, we made it. But being able to finish off a season and just enjoy with people that you genuinely care for, and like you didn't want it to end. It was like something that like I wanted like those days to like go on forever. Like I wanted a parade in Tuscaloosa for us like so we could walk out. Like I just wanted it to never end. And just being able to say that I'm the inaugural season champion is so special because I feel like seeing what everyone has gone through for softball prior to me. Like that's talking about Seychelle, that's talking about Lisa Fernandez, that's talking about everyone that came before us to kind of like leave the sport better than they found it. I felt like it was raising up not just the Talons, but raising up softball, like to get that type of recognition on ESPN, be able to have Sephora like invest in us, like having people see us and elevate us the way that I feel like softball players should have always been elevated is so, so cool. Just having that moment for softball in general, I think was bigger than just like history made for the AUSL. It was history made for softball itself. So I think that's something that was really special.
History starts now. It started with the Talons. It's going to continue to move forward. And right now, we're going to move forward into the no-fly zone segment because you, as a catcher, you are very responsible for helping turn the field into a no-fly zone, whether it be the sequence calling or you laying out and making those catches yourself. What would you say is probably your favorite play that you've made in your career?
Ooh, that is a tough one. Okay, so I love tagging out runners at home plate. Like, I think that that is like so cool just because like a lot of the times I have to like dive towards them because they want to be
Yeah.
sneaky and come around the plate. And I'm like, girl, this is my dish. Like, baby, no, you can't touch it. But I think also one play that is like really underrated, it like kind of flies under the radar, are the dropping to a block, blocking, seeing they're going, and then having to throw them out. That happened once my senior year in the Pac-12 tournament against my old team, actually Arizona. And I think it was so hard because as a catcher to have that all happen within a matter of seconds, like a runner gets to second base within 3 seconds. So having all those drills that you practice individually come together in one moment, in one play in under 3 seconds is kind of insane. And you kind of think to yourself, like, how did I just do that? How did I just throw that accurately and get up and throw the ball from being in a drop, like a dropping a block position? Like that is insane to me. So I think those two are like tied. Like maybe having like a throw and like diving to like stop the runner from touching home plate and dropping to a block and throwing out a runner at second base, they're like tied.
Mm. Yeah, the ones where they're like, it's the close call at the plate where you have to tag. Everyone's just holding their breath. It's like recently when we watched, was it the Yankees the other day when that it was a close play at the plate? Anyway, when
Yes.
you're just watching those games, it's just, and as someone that's ran for those moments to try to make those close plays, it's like, okay, you're like anticipating as a runner. I'm anticipating where you're going to be. I'm like watching your body movements to anticipate where because you can't see the ball being thrown, right? So I'm like anticipating, okay, she's moving this way a little bit. Oh no, she made that one step. The ball's probably going to come here. So like I'm analyzing where it is. I have to go to the plate. And it's so interesting listening to you because you're probably doing the same exact thing. Like, okay, she's going to go this way. And like to go and make that play, I wish we could just be like mic'd up and you just hear our thoughts. You know what I mean? As those
Oh,
plays are are
it is
being
like,
played out.
it is so hard because one, these runners are fast, girl. Like they'll touch third
Yeah.
base and they're already halfway to me. And I'm like, oh my God, like slow down, babe, slow
Yeah.
down. Like give me a second. Give me a second to breathe. But it's that. And it is like such a skill that I don't think I'll ever get in my facet of like playing, but like like these slides are insane. Like people do swim moves. They like, I can never do a
Swim
headfirst
moves.
slide. Like these swim moves, I'm like, I wish I could like do that and like look good and like not get hurt. But like, I don't think I would ever be able to do that. But like, also just like when people dive headfirst, I'm like, more props to you because I think I would be so afraid diving into like a wall like me, like that's also diving at you. I would be very afraid. But it's like, it's really an art of like being able to slide into a base and like trying to avoid a tag. That is like in itself is really, really hard. I'm happy I get to just tag, not like try to slide in and like dive and like do all these things.
Are you pissed whenever they do like the obstruction stuff?
Oh my God. Do not even, if you want to ruin my day, bring up the obstruction rule. But obviously, I brought her up, a coach that was like, the game is not going to end with an obstruction rule. So we're gonna go against it. We're gonna train against it and we're gonna prepare you so that they don't even have a choice. So I prepared a lot against the obstruction rule, but
Mhm.
I'm telling you that obstruction rule be pissing me off because sometimes when I see that arm go up, I'm like, I know you couldn't see that play.
Oh,
So you just threw the arm up. You know what I mean? Like it was just like sometimes it does get me angry, but I have learned and taught myself to make sure that I rule that out of an umpire's mind for sure.
Give them no reason to even think to throw that arm out.
Don't
Listen,
even let their thought.
yeah, it's like you want to pause, quick pause. Do you see how much space I'm giving her? Okay, so don't even think about calling it. Here we go. Play.
Yeah,
Let's continue.
here we go. Yeah, literally, like look as the ball's hit, look back at him, be like, "You
Yeah,
see these
you
feet? They're
see it?
lined up right. Okay, wherever this ball goes, I have to catch it. Okay, like."
Ooh.
No, I love my umpires. Like I try to create a relationship with them too, because they have a hard job too. So I'm always wanting to like talk back and forth with them throughout the game, and just like get feedback from them. I mean, I told you I'm a sponge. I always want to ask questions and get the most amount of feedback. So I get it. I'm like, but I just don't want to even give them a thought. I don't want a thought to be created in their mind that an obstruction can come up with me. Like, don't you worry, babe. I got this. I got this.
Oh, that's how I feel whenever they call slappers out. I'm like, you did not see that. You didn't see. Why are you watching my foot? There's no
How
way
can
you
your eyes
saw.
go?
Yeah. I was like, there's no way you saw that and we're watching if this ball was a strike or not. Anyway, I digress.
I digress. There's some things that just stick with you, you know? Like, I
Yeah.
don't care how the rules change or develop or the game develops. There's some things that just stick with you. And just like instantly, if someone brings it up, it just pokes at you. Like,
Yeah.
it's just, that's my trigger point. It's my trigger.
Truly. It's like, how much time you got? You sure you wanna revisit this question? Because I can talk about it.
Yeah.
Lord. Well, in this game, when it comes to failures, we have all experienced it, whether it is somebody calling the obstruction call, whether it's being called out for stepping on the line and slapping or what have you, or just going out and trying to be successful and ultimately be met with failure before you can reach that success. When it comes to failure, though, we know that it's a part of the game. For you, Shar, what would you say is maybe your favorite failure that has ultimately led to some of your biggest successes?
Oh, you are coming with the amazing questions. Like, I love getting interviewed by you because you really make me dig deep. I love this. Like,
Oh,
I genuinely
thanks,
do
girl.
because you're able to like look back on your career and not just see it as like a highlight reel. Like, it really, I think the most beautiful part of softball is that I think the most exciting moments come right after failure. Like, I feel like the
Mhm.
game really truly does know who's batting 0 for 3, who's having a bad attitude, I genuinely believe that. Like maybe that's just me because I believe in like karma's gonna like find its way like to
Yeah.
you. I don't know. Maybe that's my thought process. But even at UCLA, their biggest motto was it's not what you do, it's what you do next. It's how you approach the next opportunity. And I'm so lucky that I've always gotten the next opportunity. I've always been able to try again and like dust myself off and try again. And I remember in my senior season for UCLA, we had a lot of comeback wins. And it was like, I felt like early in the game, we'd get punched in the mouth and just feel like we're getting over here plummeted. And then we never gave up. That was like such a cool part of like being a part of a team that we had so much fight, and we had no ounces in us that we're going to give up until the very last pitch. And it was so cool because even in my senior season or my senior day, we were down a deficit of like 7-0, and like we were about to get run rolled on my senior day at home. I was like, this is not how they write it in the movies, babe. Like, this is not how this is supposed to go.
Can't go like this.
Can't go like this. And it's like, that's when the best stories are written. Like, all of us could have been just like, okay, fine, run roll us on our senior day, whatever, get it over with. But all of us were like, no, we are not getting run rolled on our senior day. And it was a lot of seniors that we had all played together in travel ball. We were like, no, this is not going to happen. So we like dug deep and strung along hits. It was just so cool. I was able to get a grand slam to tie the game up and continue on. And in that last inning that we played, every single senior on that team got a hit that last inning to score a run. It was like, how do you even come up with this storyline, softball? Like, softball is like a producer and a director for like Hollywood. Like, I'm telling you, like, they love the plots. They love the
drama.
Loves the drama. Like, it's like, what's going to be the most tea right now? Like, what are we going to get out of this? And it was like so cool. Cause even if I try to write it out, I don't think I could write it any better. It was like so cool to see how that all came together. And it was just like, even after that, you don't even believe that you were a part of that. You're like, wow, I was lucky enough to be a part of a team that had that type of like game, that history, that I feel like we even bring it up to this day when I go back, and Coach I will bring it up, Coach Lisa will bring it up. That was just like a really cool moment that you remember those games, you know?
Love that. The softball Cinderella story.
You're just so poetic, AJ. Like, you are like, everything you say is like a mic drop. I love it.
Oh, thanks. I can't drop this or Tari would get pissed, but I would though. And how far is UCLA from the San Fernando Valley?
Oh, I don't know. This is going to sound really bad. I don't know where the San Fernando Valley is.
Okay. Well, like when people are like, oh, I live in LA. I'm like, oh, where do you live in LA? Like, the Valley. I think it's over there.
Oh, the Valley. Okay. So the Valley. So we live like, now I'm with you. Now I'm locked in.
I could be very wrong, but I think.
So right behind UCLA is like Bel Air. Like, literally the gates to get into like this beautiful neighborhood that like Kylie Jenner probably like lives in there. Like, we'll make jokes like, hit it to Stormy. Like, that was our joke our senior year, like, hit it to Stormy. So we would like, it was always really cool because I feel like at times you would always see people either at like Century City Mall, which is like right next to school, or like even just driving into Bel Air. Like, I saw Angelina Jolie one time and I was like, wait,
come to our game.
I was like, please, you'll love women's softball, I promise. But it was like you really were in the heart of LA, and we were just a little piece of it. But our like life in that little piece at Easton Stadium was like, we thought we were like the hottest hot girls in LA. We were like, oh yeah, like this we are the real deal, baby. As we have like people that are like shooting movies and stuff like that. It was really cool. Like, but I'm actually not sure how far it is from the Valley. I know it's only 2 hours from home. So my family was at every game, baby. They were there. The Palacios crew they were together. We ran deep, especially my senior day. I felt like I was hugging people for hours after the game, like hours, but it was so cool. That weekend was really, really fun.
Oh, man, the San Fernando Valley. And you've seen the movie Cinderella Story, right?
Yes.
Okay, right. Well, she like is in wherever the San Fernando Valley is. That's where she is.
Oh, so I was my God.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, maybe it genuinely is, then like it rains and it's all magical. I'm like,
yes.
It really was a softball Cinderella story near the San Fernando Valley.
You really bring that out of like a deep part of my brain, the Cinderella story. Me and my sister love that movie, but it was like, just like thinking of it, like it opens up with the San Fernando Valley. That's so funny.
Wow. Cinderella story, favorite failures, being able to be Sharlize Palacios and making the history that you are no matter what it is. During your player spotlight, an NIL Hispanic pro quoted you saying, "It is more than stats. It's who you are when the game ends. You are nowhere near the end, but Shar, who is Sharlize Palacios?
I would love to say that Sharlize Palacios is a chispa. She's energetic. She just loves what she does. I love to get to call myself a professional softball player as my job occupation. Like, that is the coolest thing to me. That's what I wanted to do since I was younger. I love this game. I love the people that it allows me to meet, the places that I get to go, the experiences I get to do, all these really cool moments. I like really savor them. So I want to say that I was very grateful. Like, I have really been intentional with like I said, with my faith, but also like practicing gratitude. I think it's something that has made my life so much sweeter. Like, I'm seeing everything from such a more beautiful lens because I get to look at everything from looking at it from like the behind and being like, wow, I'm so grateful and so lucky that this is what my life is. So I think that I would always want to be remembered as grateful, as energetic and fun and funny. And just whenever anyone saw me doing what I love, that it truly looked like I loved it and that I like poured myself into it. Some days it's hard. Some days it's going to be like, dang, I really just want to hit that little yellow ball. But like, at the end of the day, like going out to eat with my friends afterwards or like being able to hang out with my family after a game, like that's the most important part. I feel like this game has brought together so many A+ people that I think that's what I'm going to remember like it's the in between moments that I'm going to remember.
It's like when you were try to figure out where we're gonna hit as players, it's like, okay, always find the in between, find the hole, and for it's we're bringing it back to how poetic softball and life is. It really is all about all the things in between, whether you're on the field or off, that makes softball fun.
Yeah, I feel like it's everything that everyone remembers too. Like, people can bring up, I mean, obviously the big games we'll remember, but like certain games that we played in the middle of the week in the middle of nowhere, we're like, oh yeah, what even happened that game? But if we bring up a joke that was a running joke, oh my God, like everyone will play off of it and be like, no, but you look like this or you said this. And
Oh, yeah.
everyone remembers every part of like a car ride or like where we went to go eat that one place or like something happened at a nail salon on our off day. Like those in between moments of like in between when you're actually playing, I feel are like the funniest, the most memorable parts of the year.
My favorite are the insanely quiet bus rides after a loss, and it's like, "Don't you dare laugh." And, like, I'm not good in situations like that. Like, situations where I'm not supposed to laugh, I find hilarious. I don't know why. Anyway, those are, like
It's like a really it's a curse because even like something will happen here in my house and like someone will get hurt and my first instinct is to like laugh
yeah,
and
it's
I'm like,
like
"Wait, are you okay?" It's bad. It's really bad. So I was like, "Dang, am I like a bad person?" Like, no, it's just I think my immediate response is to like make it
make light
lighthearted
it.
and
Yeah, I'm just
funny.
make light of the situation. That's how I got
So those quiet bus rides, you know you have that one teammate that you just like cannot look at.
can't
Like
look
you
at.
just
Yep.
have to you almost have to close your eyes and just be like not right now.
Oh, man, what a time. Well, Shar, from your career, from when you first started to being that spark plug, the Shispa to Arizona, UCLA, professional softball player, Talons, AUSL champion, you have truly thrown all the sazon we can think of possible to make everything more fun and exciting. And as we talked about earlier, of you really looking up to your older sister, Sashel, would we say Olympics is maybe on the path as well?
You know what? I just saw something that said like you have not because you have not asked. So I am praying that that is in my path and if it's in my path then it's God's will and it'll happen and I'll be happy either way because you know what? God has really blessed me in this life. If it's for me, my name's already written on it by him. So I'm just letting what he thinks is going to happen play out and obviously that's always the goal. Like I think I have prided myself on saying that I'll know when I'm done playing and the game will tell me. So I'm just like waiting on when it's gonna tell me. I'm waiting on that little whisper, like, "Hey, girl, maybe this is your last year. Maybe it's time to just hang up the cleats." So I'm really striving for that. That's what I'm training for every single day, like, is being able to do that and join Team USA in that journey. But if it's also not, one of my other goals is to just enjoy every day that I get to lace up my cleats. That's like my biggest thing. So I'm excited for what's to come, and I know that I'm confident that I'll know exactly when it's my time to hang it up, to do certain things. And I I'm lucky that I have teammates that also are really deep in their faith that can remind me of that too.
It's already written. And as we go back to our affirmation, today I will listen more than I speak, pour passion and sazon. Every day I get better. I am nowhere near my peak. I'm so excited to watch you continue to climb those mountains to get to that peak. Thank you so much for joining me, Shar, on Dropping Diamonds.
Oh, thank you, AJ. You were literally the best in the game at this. Like, what? You were so good. Like, I
Thanks,
get to
girl.
meet your sister, and I just love the way she's I literally told Aaliyah this. I was like, "I can listen to you talk for, like, ages. Like, you could be, like, my green noise at night. Like, it's so soothing." But just you and her are like, oh my god, you guys speak so well. You guys are so, like, oh my god, you guys are just, like, so good at what you guys do. Like,
Oh,
it's actually incredible. Like, I don't think I've gotten the chance to really get to know you like this, but wow, you are just like a breath of fresh air. Like, this was the easiest I think the only easier conversation would be, like, with Sosh, like, genuinely. Like,
that means so much to me. Thank
no,
you
like,
so much.
you said that means so much. Like,
No, like,
stop, you're gonna make me cry.
literally, thank you.
No, like, what a gift you have. Like, what a gift from God. That's awesome.
Oh, sure.
No,
Like, I feel like we
I
need a hug.
genuinely no, like, can we
Yeah.
virtual hug right now? No, I just love seeing, like, God's gifts for other people. Like, how cool is that that he gave each of us these, like, beautiful little things that we get to, like, showcase. Like, wow, you're just so good at this. Like, every question I was, like, very, like, my first instinct was, like, "Whoa, that was a very good question." I think I said it, like, 5 times in this, like, my god.
Okay, so Shar's gonna come back for another episode because I just want to be affirmed like that again. But until then, thank you so much, Shar, and thank you guys all so much for listening to today's episode. Make sure you continue to listen and learn on Instagram at Dropping Diamonds Pod, and remember to listen wherever you get your podcasts. I will meet you all back here next week, back on the diamond. Bye for now. Don't forget, add a little sazon to your day. Bye.